Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone to our Monday night Moshiach Matters class, and let's get cracking. We are on the second parsha of the second book of the Torah, Parshas Ve'era. Let's get started. Aleph. Hilat Parshas Tenu. Ve'era el Avraham el Yitzchak ve'el Yaakov ve'el Shaddai. Ushmi Havaya lo nedarti lehem. L'chein amar leBnei Yisrael ani Havaya. Okay, so the opening pasuk in this week's Torah portion starts with this. And I appear to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov in the name Kel Shaddai. But my name Havaya, I did not appear to them. And therefore, to the Jewish people, I said to the Jewish people, I am Havaya. So we have to understand this concept. I think my glasses are crooked, or my face, or both. Okay. So we have to understand this. Aleph, b'noged l'toichen b'kasuvim eile shel ha'avos nisgala HaKadosh Baruch Hu rak el b'Shaddai v'lo b'shem Havaya ve'ulai l'bnei Yisrael yizgala ata b'shem Havaya. Ech meti'im haloshen l'chein amar hagoyim. So the first question that Rabbi has is that the pasuk says like this. It's written to the forefathers, I revealed myself, Hashem says, only in the name El Shaddai, which is a lower revelation of God's energy, if you will, a lower name he manifests himself in the world with. And in my name Havaya, I did not reveal myself to them. And then it says, and therefore, because of it, I revealed myself to the Jewish people, to their children, in the name Havaya. So first of all, it doesn't make sense, because Havaya is a much higher name. So you would think if I revealed myself to the forefathers in a lower name, why does it say, and because of that, therefore, I revealed myself to a higher name, to the Jewish people? It doesn't make sense. What does it mean because of it? We know the forefathers are on the highest, much higher level than their children. So you would think would be the opposite. You would think, okay, I only revealed myself in a lower name I only reveal myself in a lower name to the Jewish people and therefore a higher name to the forefathers. But it's the opposite. It says I reveal myself with a lower name to the forefathers and therefore a higher name to their children. Doesn't make sense. Base, second question. And even more than this. We see that the Parsha is connected to the fact that the Jewish people were revealed by the name Havaya, but it wasn't revealed to the forefathers. But the name of the Parsha is Ve'era, referring to God's revealing himself, who? To the forefathers. And therefore we see in the Parsha where it's explaining that he revealed to the Jewish people and not to the forefathers. So why is the name of the Parsha connected to God's revealing himself to the forefathers? And then talking about how he didn't reveal himself in such a high name to the forefathers, only to the children. Something seems amiss. Oh, my glasses are a little bit crooked here today. Or maybe it's my face. It's disturbing me in the way my glasses are fitting. Okay, base. ונראה לומר שכיוון שנקראים אבויס כמודגש בפירוש רש"י ואירא על האבויס שהאבוס הם למעלה מהבנים מקור להם. So we see this concept. V'nira, it appears to say that since it says that the forefathers, Rashi explains that he revealed himself to the forefathers, and the forefathers are on a much higher level than their children. In fact, they're the root for their children. The fathers are the root for the offspring, for the kids. And And there is an advantage even more on the forefathers regarding their children. Even more than this. Lamadas ha'avos he gam legabi Moshe sha'adav na'amar ani havaya va'al yidei haya yizgalos. Egilui, the Shem Havaya, the Kalban Israel. Mavor Parshas Rashi. Amar lo Kodesh Baruch Hava al ha'avdin v'lo meshtachisin. Yesh li lis anon al mitas ha'avos. Harbe pa'amin nigalias elehem v'al shaddai v'lo amar lehem li ma shimcha. Ata amaro ma shmo. Lo harho achar midoisi ve'ata amar lama harisa. Ad kirikach v'ira al avos hu hagoram shahi hagilui shel etzem habanim. Okay, and even more than this, we see the advantage of the forefathers also regarding Moshe Rabbeinu, and where it says ani havaya v'lo ayidei hayahiz galo d'shem havaya the kol bnei Yisrael. And that even he wasn't revealed at this high level to the as is being revealed to the Jewish people. So we see there's an issue here. How number one, that God is revealing Himself on a higher level to the Jewish people than He is to the forefathers. And number two, why does it say specifically because He revealed Himself on a lower level to the forefathers? Therefore, because of that, He revealed Himself on a higher level to the children. Okay, those are the two questions that we are left with. Gimel, now let's start doing some explaining. According to Chassidut, the name Havaya wasn't revealed until Matan Torah. And therefore it says specifically that God did not reveal Himself to the forefathers in this high lofty name of Havaya. He revealed Himself to the forefathers in the lower name, which is Kel Shaddai. They did not come to know me by the name Havaya. The Matan Torah Nizgal Shem Havaya. And the Jewish people, it was revealed the name Havaya when in the time of the giving of the Torah. The Hemshech HaKasuv, as is continued, is what is written, Lakachti eschem li la'am, and I took to myself as a nation. Yadatem ki ani Havaya, and that they will know that I am Havaya. Hine avsha avos hayu lifnei Matan Torah hayu noisef lakach shekiyam ha'Avraham Avinu kocha Torah kulo al shelo nisna. We see that even though the forefathers came around before the giving of the Torah, it's known that Avraham Avinu fulfilled the whole Torah even before it was given. Like it is known, Sha'ide Avraham Hayisa Itchila the Torah, that Avraham was the forerunner in the beginning of the process of receiving the Torah. Kumudgar b'mitzvahs mila ha'Avraham shahia kamo ha'mitzvah shela achri Matan Torah. Sha'ayidam namshechin kedushin dechefetz hagashmi shebo mikiyamim ha'mitzvahs. We know that when Avraham Avinu gave himself a bris, that was the beginning of this process of doing mitzvot. And in fact, it's the very similar, the same to the mitzvah of Brit Milah that was given to the Jewish people after the giving of the Torah. The fish nishbar tzarich shito biyadach hafetz shel mitzvahs, and he said, and swear and put your hand under my thigh in the place where that Hashem said to Abraham, where you will circumcise yourself as a covenant. I know shechidus the Matan Torah b'hamshachas adukus. One of the unique things that came about through the giving of the Torah is that it drew down godly energy into the world where before it was not there. And furthermore, it combined the upper and lower worlds. And this all started with the mitzvah of Bris Milah, which was the beginning of this concept of combining physical and spiritual energies together. It all started with Abraham giving himself a bris. And so that even the unification of the upper and lower energies in the world that began with the mitzvah of Milah that Avraham Avinu did, This is connected to the limb in his body. There is to say, Shirumaz gam hakasher hashaychos tepualos ba'olam, prati ninim hashavua benekitas hafetz demila. That is hinted also in the connection and the relevance and actuality in the world, and specifically the promise, the swear that was made regarding the place of the milah of the brit. Aleph, and it's connected also to the shidduch, to the marriage of Yitzchak and Rivka, Yehud Ma v'Ban, which unified the divine energies of Ma and Ban, as we spoke about at length in Parshas Chayasah. That this is the general idea of keeping Torah and mitzvot, uniting the what we call is masculine energy or Ma with the feminine energy or Ban. And through this, it draws down godly energy into the lower aspects of creation, this physical world. And base, Abraham, and we know that Eliezer wanted to put his daughter together with Abraham's son, Yitzchak. And Abraham said, no go. Sorry, can't do it. Because my son is blessed and your daughter is cursed. And blessings and curses cannot come together. Nevertheless, Eliezer was the one who brought about the shidduch between Rivka and Yitzchak. And this brought about the beginning of the emphasis of transforming darkness to light and bitterness to sweetness. And this brought about the unification of upper and lower realities into a complete way. And that since God appeared to Abraham in the name El Shaddai, this is connected to the mitzvah of Milah. In the Matan Torah, this began the beginning of the process of what ultimately would be the revelation of God's name Havaya that came over to us in the time of the giving of the Torah. Nevertheless, the pasuk says, and I revealed myself to Abraham in the name Kel Shaddai, but my name Havaya was not known to them. Because he had only done that mitzvah of Milah and not all the other mitzvot. Because the rectification and the connection to the revealing of the name Havaya is something new, a new energy that God brought into the world, specifically that came about in the times of the giving of the Torah, where the upper and lower worlds became unified. That the drawing down of godly energy into the world, because the name Havaya represents God's energy, what we say is bli gvul, without boundaries or limitations, unlimited. And therefore, it came from a very strong place and revealed this very high light, this high energy of no boundaries or limitations down in the physical world. And since that Abraham drew down holiness to the place only of the mitzvah of Milah. In other words, when he did the Brit Milah, he brought down holiness, Kedusha, into his physical body through his member. Through his member, he brought this godly energy and turned his physical body into a vessel for godliness. But that's where it stayed. It didn't penetrate the entire world. It just penetrated his physical body. But it didn't come down to the entire world. And that's what it means. It did not come to know me by the name Havaya, because that divine energy was not manifest in the entire world. It was only manifest in Abraham Avinu himself. Nevertheless, we see the drawing down of holiness below through the mitzvah of Brit Milah. Came specifically through the power of Bli Gvul, of unbound or limited. What's up, bro? Yeah, members only. That's how we rock. And this brought about the beginning of the revealing of the name Havaya and Matan Torah. This power of Bli Gvul, of unlimited energy, was not recognized and revealed in the worlds, right? So even though Avraham Avinu began, as we learned at length in Parshas Lech Lecha, that Avraham Avinu was the forerunner in the beginning of Matan Torah. If it wasn't for Avraham Avinu's mysterious nefesh, the Torah could not have been given, because he began this process of what we say is combining physical and spiritual, which is the whole purpose of creation. That the whole world should come to recognize that there's only one God, and physical and spiritual, they're both creations. We can be deceived to think that God is spiritual in the heaven and the world is physical and down here, when it's all God. And God creates physical just like he creates spiritual. He's above both of them. And that process began with Avraham Avinu when he gave himself a bris. He drew down this divine energy, we say, of Bli Gvul, unlimited energy from above, into a finite physical reality of his body, and ultimately turned a Jewish body into a receptacle for godly energy. But it was only to Avraham Avinu. It didn't penetrate the world yet. It was only until the Torah was given that energy penetrated the entire world. And therefore it says, he did not know me by the name Havaya, because the name Havaya was an energy that only came down in the giving of the Torah, only where that energy penetrated the entire reality of the world, not just one human being as holy as he was, Avraham Avinu. And according to this, we can go deeper into the exact language of my name Havaya that did not come to know me by. Lo hadarati ein kasiv kan, elo lo nidarati, lo nikrati, shechaschron hu rak bahachra v'hizgadus. But ikar enedam shakelu shem Havaya tichil b'kavar b'mitzvahs mila. Oh, so the pasuk says specifically, my name Havaya was not known, but it doesn't mean that there was no knowledge of my name Havaya. I mean, it wasn't brought down and known in a known way. In other words, it didn't penetrate the world because that energy was not revealed fully in the world. But this concept of the name Havaya, the potential of what we say is Bli Gvul, or unlimited divine energy, to draw down and enter into the world, did start with Avraham Avinu. So he opened the pipe, if you will, for this energy to come into the world, but it wasn't revealed into the entire world yet. Hey, but mitzvahs mila, yesh etzel ha'avos, in a knowledge yoser, and even in a deeper way. In addition to the beginning of the actuality of unifying upper and lower realities that took place in the time of the giving of the Torah. This started with the mitzvah milah. And therefore it says, regarding the forefathers, something they are even higher. The unique concept of unifying the upper and lower worlds into the boundaries of the physical world that is divided into upper and lower, right? Heaven and earth, if you will. And that there was a decree that separated between the upper and lower worlds. And the giving of the Torah separated, nullified that decree that separated between the upper and lower worlds. But from the side of the godly energy that is above, from the concept of above and below, it's not shaykh, it's not relevant, that level. In other words, there's a level of godly energy that is above upper and lower, where everything is total oneness, where God is totally oneness with the energy that he creates. In a lower level, he's separated between upper and level and lower, excuse me. But from God's perspective and from the upper worlds above, which we would say, so to speak, in the world of there's many different divisions according to Chassidut and Kabbalah as to what is considered upper and lower. For the purposes of our discussion, we're going to say that the world of Itzilus is the connection between upper and lower, with Keter and above being upper, and Itzilus down, Bria being lower. What does it mean? It means from that perspective, from that place, there is upper and lower. But if you go above to the world of Adam Kadmon, to the higher worlds, there's no such thing as upper and lower. There's no such thing as masculine and feminine or right or left. Everything is just what we say is essence of God in a state of oneness. So that level exists. So even though there is a decree that separated upper and lower, that decree only exists in a lower state of reality. I already said that. But there's a level of godly energy above from this concept of upper and lower, where there's no such concept of a separation between upper and lower. And it comes out from this that upper and lower realities were equal before the giving of the Torah. Excuse me. And as we said, the unique thing of the giving of the Torah was that also the boundaries of the world, there is to it a decree, if you will, that separated between upper and lower. And therefore, the giving of the Torah removed that decree, so it was no longer present. And for this, we could start to understand the concept of God, how he revealed himself in the name Havaya to the Jewish people in the time of the giving of the Torah. Lakachti etchem li la'am, where he said, I am taking you to be a nation upon me. And this unique thing is connected also to the service of the Jewish people in the world, to bring about the unification of the upper and lower worlds. That's the job of the Yidden. But even before this, we know the essence of a Jew is connected to God, even above the giving of the Torah, because we came before the Torah. And this is the level of the forefathers. And Avraham Avinu was the first of the believers. And he opened up the pipe, if you will, for what we say is mysterious nefesh, for self-sacrifice from the level of the essence of the soul. And the unique thing of the giving of the Torah is that God revealed himself by the name Havaya. And the essence of drawing down and revealing also in the level of a revealed state, the powers of the soul, gam kafish, and the dabshu beguf ha'olam hazeh gashmi, to the point that this godly energy was able to enter into the physical world and also enclosed into the physical bodies. In order to draw down a much higher level of godly energy from above the world into the world. So just briefly, because there's a lot we can talk about here, but due to the constraints of time we have, we're not going to get into it. But I'll just give you a brief idea. There's a concept in Chassidut and Kabbalah called Derusa de la Tata, Derusa de la Ela. An arousal from below brings forth an arousal above, which means that before God created the world, I'd like to challenge anyone in the world who feels somehow that they deserve to have life. They did something to deserve to be alive. There's so many problems right now in the world, and so many people going crazy, and this one's protesting that, and this one's protesting this, and everyone's yelling and screaming. What do these people do for a living? Do they have jobs? Do they work, or do they just spend all day protesting what they're upset about? In other words, people like to blame other people and other situations for their problems instead of taking responsibility about what they could do to better themselves. So no one deserves to be created. No one whatsoever has that title where they could say, I deserve to have life. No. God creates all of us and all of the world out of what we say his ultimate kindness. We did absolutely nothing to deserve to be created. That's called the Rusa de Le'ela. It arose in God's will, an arousal from above that he wanted to create the world. And he sustains the world and keeps the world going, and the planets and the stars and the moon and the birds and the trees and the water and all these things. And he sustains all of us. But when he brought out the Torah, he said, now I'm giving you the opportunity to draw down additional godly energy, to bring blessings to yourself, to your families, to your community, and to the world. How? Here's the Torah. And through the Torah, by keeping the Torah, the 613 mitzvot incumbent upon the Jewish people, and the 7 mitzvot incumbent upon the nations of the world, God says you are now able to, what we say is, Derusa Latata, Derusa De'ela. Through your arousal from below, by pushing yourself in self-sacrifice and working more and doing more for Hashem and for others, you now draw down additional godly energy that didn't exist before into your body, into your community, and into the world. The more you do to help others, the more God brings new energy to you in order to do so. And that's what we call an arousal from below that causes an arousal from above. And that didn't exist before the giving of the Torah because there was a separation, a decree between upper and lower worlds. Just a brief synopsis. Okay, Vav. The practice Yosher more specifically. The Chidush, the Matan Torah, who rak lo rak benoga the hamshach of the mata, and the gam benoga the hamshach etz. That the unique thing of the giving of the Torah is not only the connection to the drawing down below, rather also its connection to drawing down the very essence of God. That specifically through drawing down below and revealing the true essence of God, therefore there's no boundaries. The essence of God is revealed into the entire world. That this energy was also drawn down to the forefathers through the mitzvah of Milah of Abraham Avinu. But since it wasn't brought down to the entire world, as we pointed out, it's not acknowledged or recognizable. It, this level of godly energy was only revealed and palatable only after the giving of the Torah. To the point that the godly energy then could be recognized into the physical world. Even though the power to draw down this very high level of godly energy into the world came from the forefathers. It was only after the giving of the Torah where the main work of taking this energy that came from the power of our forefathers, from the serious nefesh, the self-sacrifice of Avraham Avinu to give himself a bris at 99. That energy, that power enabled us after the giving of the Torah to take that energy and enclose it into the physical world, so it becomes part of the world. It's not the case of the work of the forefathers that is connected to the essence of their souls, but they give the power to the children to do this work. In such a way to reveal and penetrate this power into the lower worlds. So the power to do this comes from the forefathers, but the actual work of doing it comes from the children. It's known that the giving of the Torah brought about the marriage between the God and the Jewish people. Boim u'mishtafafim gam ba'avos Abraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, through the power of the forefathers. And this is what it says. Aleph. Shavodas habanim, the service of the children, who b'koach ha'avos, comes from the power of the fathers. Shekoach ha'avos mitzkara et hamamshach lamata b'avodas ha'abanim. And therefore the power of the forefathers is revealed through drawing it down below, through the service of the children. So we see the interplay between fathers and sons, between the energy to make it happen and the actual action of doing it. Zayin. If there is an addition to this, the Ava, Toichen, Ha'inin, the Shmi Havaya Lonedadati, where it says, by my name Havaya, they did not come to know me. Gam Ma'achri Ma'an Torah, Shahari Torah Hu Nitzchis. Even after the giving of the Torah, the question is, since the Torah is eternal, Chora, Kivan, Shekavar, Avro, Alfei Shanim, Me'ashkis Galashim Havaya B'man Torah, Mashach Hata Inyan, the Shmi Havaya Lonedadati. We know that every single thing we learn in the Torah is eternal, and it is not just for the time that it was written. The Rebbe's question is, how does this apply to us? It's been thousands of years since we received the Torah, and therefore the name Havaya is already revealed to us and to the whole world. So what does it mean, my name Havaya, that did not come to know me by, talking about the forefathers? How is that applicable to us today? To the explanation is as follows. That even though in Matan Torah the name Havaya was revealed, and it says that they should know that I am Havaya. In the future to come, it is written, and they will know that Havaya is Elokim. Excuse me. And this is revealing from a place above even more until we see that the name Havaya is considered like the name Elohim. The name Elohim is God's name he uses to conceal himself in the nature. And the name Havaya is the energy of God that he exists above the nature. And then the name Havaya will be revealed in even a higher way. We're talking about the days of Moshiach. And then the revealing of the great name will take place. In such a way that we see, even regarding the situation of the giving of the Torah, that before we know that God's name Havaya, they did not come to know him by, that level will be like the revealing of the name Havaya in the future to come. And will be unique even regarding the giving of the Torah. Because a new Torah will come out from God. So the level of godly energy that was revealed before the giving of the Torah was nothing compared to the godly energy that was revealed after the giving of the Torah. And now the Rebbe is saying that the godly energy given that was revealed in the time of the giving of the Torah is nothing regarding the godly energy that will be revealed in the future to come. Where we say a new Torah will come out from God. Torah chadash mitzi teitzi. And then we will have the completion of the marriage between God and the Jewish people. As it gets written, it says like this world, the giving of the Torah was like a engagement between us and God. But when Mashiach comes, it'll be like the actual marriage, total oneness. Let's explain this even further. That we see, as we said above, the connection to the advantage of the service of the Jewish people after the giving of the Torah, regarding how it was to the Avos before the giving of the Torah. That specifically through drawing down the essence of God below. In all times that was not drawn down below, only at the time of the mitzvah of Mila, that's when that had that specific energy. And therefore, this is a proof that it wasn't the essence. And therefore we see there will be a great advantage to the time of God's revelation in the days of Mashiach, as it is regarding now, as we just pointed out. That this divine energy of the essence of God, it's not that it will be drawn down below, which took place at the time of the bris milah of Abraham and also at the giving of the Torah, but rather it will be revealed below. In other words, the energy won't only be here, but God's very essence will be revealed in the world. It's not going to be cool. Excuse me, and God's essence will no longer be concealed. But for sure, it will be revealed for everyone to see. In other words, there'll be zero doubt in anyone's mind in the whole world, whoever's left standing, that God exists. And God creates the world and creates us and creates everything every single second. In other words, the level of godly energy will be so revealed, there'll be no question anymore whether God exists. Since through the deeds and service of fulfilling the Torah and mitzvahs is only drawing down this energy below, but this revelation of what we're doing. In other words, every mitzvah, every time we learn Torah, every time we daven, maybe we feel a little bit elevated, maybe we feel a little bit better about ourselves, maybe we get a little bit of a taste of God's blessings from it. But it's only going to be in the future to come where we actually see the fruits of our labors now. And all the time that it is not revealed below, because the essence is not revealed. Only when Mashiach comes will we actually be able to see the true essence of God. And as we said, that the Jewish people after the Torah had the power to fulfill their mission in this world only because of the forefathers that preceded the Torah. And that since after the giving of the Torah, it's emphasized mainly the drawing down in the level in a revealed way. It is not the case before the giving of the Torah, where the action, it's just more connected to the essence. And therefore, the completion will take place in the future to come, specifically using the same power that we're initiating now. So it's like everything goes up, boom, boom, boom. Forefathers to giving a Torah, giving the Torah to now, to then after that to Mashiach. Since in the future to come, the true revelation of God will be revealed for the whole world to see. That now we see specifically in the time of the exile, it's emphasized mainly the service connected to the essence. In other words, you don't see it. We're doing it, but we don't see it. Since the main service is through a mysterious nefesh, in the time. In other words, through now, we're doing the work. We're cranking it out. You may not see the fruits of your labor. At times you may even question, why am I doing this? Why am I working so hard when nothing seems to be changing? Because we're connected to this power right now. But the actually revelation of all this goodness will take place when Mashiach comes and we'll see with our physical eyes. And therefore we see the completion in the future to come is also going to be connected to the power of the forefathers, as it says. The three things, there is a foretaste in this world as it will be in the world to come. Avram, because he be bechlal, with Avram, it says in everything, and Yitzchak, it's written be bechlal, with everything. Ikar, but Yaakov is sort of be bechlal, and with Yaakov, it's written with everything. The Ikar Shleimas Gilu is and the main revelation will take place in the future to come. from the actual power of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, which gave the power to give us the Torah, which gave the power to the Jewish people to fulfill the mitzvot, which is going to give the power for the new Torah to come down. And therefore the ultimate completion of in everything, from everything, and with everything will take place in the future to come. And right now, all the work we're doing will be revealed in the days of Mashiach. There's a lot we can learn out from this. Just one basic concept is we see that the power from Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov gave power through all the generations. And every mitzvah you do, think about that. Every time you pray, every time you do a mitzvah, every time you learn Torah, that's not only bringing down godly energy and blessings for you, your family, your community, and the entire world now, but in the future to come and eternity. You know what eternal means? That means if you think about how much time you spend playing video games or watching stupidity or following everywhere else on social media, that when you're done, you could wipe your tuchus with it. It's meaningless. When you could be spending your time learning Torah, doing mitzvot, helping other people, davening, all these things that are going to last forever. It's mind-boggling if you think about it. Ches. Yes, more is to say, the completion of the name Havaya will be revealed in the future to come. Murumaz, but Parshish the Tchila, the Korean Bizman Mincha, the shape, excuse me. Here are Parshas Bo. This is hinted in Parshas Bo, which we begin to read in Mincha, time in Shabbos. All the pasuk on the pasuk. V'yamar Hashem al Moshe bo al Parai. And Hashem said to Moshe, come to Paro. The Zohar explains, the Ali Kodesh bo Adrin Batra Adrin. The Gabi Tanina Chada Ila'a. This is also one of my favorite sichos, where God says to Moshe, come with me. We're going to go into room after room after room. We're going deeper and deeper and deeper to the source of Paro, which is the great crocodile. That's what the Zohar calls Paro, a crocodile. Again, this is the same concept in each one of us. There's you could call them what you want. You could call them ghosts. You could call them demons. You could call them skeletons. Each one of us has dug in our deep psyche. There's dark places. There's fear. There's buried trauma. There's things we don't want to face. There's things we don't want, and they'll never go away. They keep popping up. They keep popping up, and they manifest in triggers and everything we do. And God's saying, I'm with you. Come with me. Where do you have to go? You have to go deep inside, room after room after. You have to go deep inside and deep inside. That's why therapy is not a one-time shot. You don't go to therapy for 6 months or a year and say, I'm healed. It's layers. It's layers. It's like an onion. So you peel off a layer, you feel better, you're okay, I'm good. And then you have a trigger, you explode. You're like, where did that come from? Oh, I need more. And you got to keep digging and digging and digging until you get to the root, the core. And we all have that root core of klipa that's inside in our being. It's in our hearts, deep inside. And until you flush it out, that energy will keep coming out and keep coming out. And that's why God's saying, come with me, because I allowed whatever it is to happen. Whatever you did or happened to you in your life, it's because I allowed it to happen. Why? So you could pull that energy out, that spark, that godly energy, and use it to heal the world. That's why we see that. How do you cure being poisoned from a snake? What's the antidote? Snake venom. The very poison that caused your pain is the same poison you have to pull out to heal you. And that's what it says. God says, come with me. What is it? It's the source of Perav Kedusha. Because wherever that darkness is covering, right behind it is a giant light. It's a giant light. And if you pull away that darkness, boom, you feel an explosion of goodness, of energy, of light inside of you. And that's what we call Paro of the Kedusha. The holiness that is inside of that Paro, that dark place. And this is revealed, the Chamishi, the Paro, talking about the 5th level. The Aspiriyu is Galin Mene Kol Nohari. Very big, uncontrollable lights from the world of Tohu, of chaos. And this is the 5th level that is above God's name Havaya. It's above Tam and Das. It's above logic. It's above anything you could grasp. That's why these blind spots, these deep trauma things are so deep in our unconscious that sometimes we forget they're there. There's victims of sexual abuse that forget they've been abused because they've blocked it and covered it over with so many layers. That the name Havaya, the 4 letters, Yud K Vav K, that's basically connected to our minds, our hearts, our bodies, things we could grasp. But this is an energy above that. You got to go deeper, deeper, deeper inside. And this is called the 5th level. And this is the level of godly energy that is going to heal us all when Mashiach comes. That's going to reveal this deep, deep, high connection that we have above anything that we have connected to now, that we're able to connect to right now. The Rebbe gave us that blessing, that we have the ability to live in a state of Mashiach consciousness now by accessing this deep level of godly energy deep inside of us. The Haisif, in addition to this, Parshas Bo, but Parshas Shlishi is the Sefer Shmois, Sefer Geula. It's the 3rd parsha in the book of Shmos, which is called the book of Geula, of redemption. The Yesh, the words that say Shirumazes, Gamgal, Gilua, Shlemas, and Nitzchis. And this is hinted on the true and complete redemption as written. But Pratius Yoiser, Gimel, Haparshi, Shmois, Virabo. Him connected Gimel took over Hakladis. And the Rebbe said these 3 parshas connected to the book of Shmos, the book of redemption, are connected to 3 distinct periods of reality. The first one is before the giving of the Torah. The second one is the giving of the Torah. And the third one is the future to come, Mashiach times. Parsha Shmoi Shebo Medubar Oidisha Avot Mitzrim. And Parsha Shemoi is connected to the service of Egypt. Kor Habarzel, the crucible of iron. And through this, we were able to prepare for the giving of the Torah through the hard work. And this is a connection to Parshas Shmos, which is before the giving of the Torah. And then we have Parshas Vayira, where Hashem said to the Jewish people, I am Havaya. And this is connected to the giving of the Torah. And we have Parshas Bo next week. Bo Paroi, God says, come to Paroi. Is Prinon dis Gali Mine Konol Harim, and we will reveal the high level of godly energy, the 5th level of Paro, the level of Paro of Kedusha, that will be revealed in the future to come connected to Mashiach. Test. Yesh kasher la'amor la'el gam im zaman shebo korim shavazeh parshas virat chila parshas bo shabbat bavarchim chodesh shvat. And we see all these things connected to this week, which is Shabbos Mavarchim, the Shabbos that blesses the month of Shvat. Shabbos Marvarchim, Chodesh Shvat, who b'sirem Chodesh Teps, the completion of the month of Teps, Chodesh Isiri, the 10th month. Ubo Namshachas, Mabrachas, Hatanias, Koach, Chodesh Shvat. And this is drawing down the blessing that gives us the power for the month of Shvat. Chodesh Echad Es, the 11th month. Yesh Lamar Shabisiyam Chodesh Te'esri Shlemas Hamispar Mudgeshes Shlemas Havos Lebanei Israel. And this is the completion of number 10, which is emphasizing the completion of the service of the Jewish people. And then we see the future to come is connected to the number 11, which is above the nature. Al Derek Bedugmas base a Parshias Vera Babo. The Haisef in Agula Mruma Gam Bishmosha Hoidish Kafish Nikara Bishmois Hoidishim Sha'al Shahem Abavli Shvat. We see the number Shvat. The month Shvat is connected to redemption as well. Aleph. Mudashin Shviti Mushalim Beprat Mamshala Bachus base David Lo Sora Shvat Mihuda Ad Ki Yavo Shilo, talking about the playing on the words of Shvat, and it says until Shiloh comes. Shiloh is one of the names of Melech HaMashiach, referring to the coming of Mashiach. Allah Na'amar Ikim Shvat, and this is in fact Shiloh is beside being my son's name is the gematria of Moshe 348, and Shiloh Yavo is the gematria of Mashiach, which is 358. I'm sorry, let me back that up. Shiloh is gematria 345, is the same as Moshe. And Shiloh Yavo is gematria 358, which is the same as Mashiach. And it's known that Shiloh is one of the names given for Mashiach. Mashiach is a Rosh Tevis for Menachem, Shiloh, Inon, V'Cheskia. Zeh Melech HaMashiach, referring to Mashiach, V'doshen en enaf Elyan, V'yatzah Chotar, Mageh Zera, Yesh Nutzara, Mishorshe, Yefra, Yetz Shvat, Melcha, Mishora, Sheish, Yishem Wazera, David Hu, Melech HaMashiach. Okay, Yud. But Gashi Yisera B'Dorenu Zeh, She'asirei B'Shvat, and specifically we see in this generation connecting to the 10th of Shvat, the number 10 is a completion, and how much more so in the 11th month, which is above the nature. The day of the Histachus of the Frierdiker Rebbe on Yud Shvat. As the Alter Rebbe says in the Tanya, that on the day of the Histachus, of the elevating of the soul of a righteous person, how much more so a Rebbe, that all his deeds in the service in the world are elevated in the world at the time. And the tremendous divine energy is drawn down from above to below. Literally into the physical world. That all the seeds that he sowed, all his Torah learning, all his divine service for his whole life is drawn down at a much higher level on the day of his Stalchus, the day of his passing. How much more so when we're talking about the revelation that will take place when Mashiach reveals himself in our generation. As we know, as the leader of the generation has already told us, we've reached all the ends of the gullahs, and everything is ready for the future feast. The whole feast is ready for Mashiach, the actual feast of the big whale and the bull and the guarded wine. Yesh more to say Shaklados Hazman Hakasha im Yoim Halula ve'esri Shvat, in general connected to the time of the Hilula, of the passing of the Frierdiker Rebbe in the 10th of Shvat. The Chedek leGimel Tukoi for Yishehem Al Derek B'Dignas Gimel Tukoi Scholars Ben Shecha Kol Doris, that his leadership is also connected to 3 sections, just like the 3 sections we said before: the giving of the Torah, and the Torah. The same applies for the 3 periods of the Frierdiker Rebbe's work. Tokofa Rishon, in the first period, Arba'im Shana, 40 years. Bizman Nasiyois Kol Aviv, in the place of his forefathers. Including building up one of the Tamchei Tamimim yeshivas. Just like this was the service of the Avos before the giving of the Torah as a preparation for the Torah. That was the first period of the Frierdiker Rebbe's leadership in the time of Russia. Took Fei Sheni in the second period. Shaloshim Ene Nasiyoise B'Chaim Chayotz Ba'Almedim. Shehem Hayach Kirish Michad Shalbiyo Torah Nasi Doreno Chasidas Chabad. Mamish. And then he began the second period of his leadership, which began the spreading out of the well springs of the teachings of Chabad even in a further way. And this was the chidush of that 10-year period. The chidush the Man Torah, and then we have the second period, which was the Frierdiker Rebbe's coming to America and spreading out in a bigger way the Torah of Chassidut to the well springs throughout the entire world, and that is likened to the period of the giving of the Torah. And then we have the third period, Hamshach Nesius La'achar Histachus. Very interesting. The Rebbe says that this is the period of the Frierdiker Rebbe after he already passed. In other words, the Rebbe often says that his work is a continuation of the Frierdiker Rebbe's, and that's what he's saying now as well. והחוץ ובחוץ וכל כתבי תבל, עד לגמור להשלים הזבורה, שהכל זמן הקו לסורת לזיד ימות המשיח. The Rebbe is saying, and we are literally the third period connected to Mashiach, because the service is already done and everything is ready for the Gula. Varpati is Yoiser, and more specifically, Yesh Marsha Gamatukafos Hanam Rumzim Gamatukafos Shlushim Shanois Nisyoisai. These 3 periods of the Frierdiker Rebbe are also connected to the 3 periods of the 30 years of his leadership. Tukva Rishaina B'Tchila Natsiasa the Matzar Vegula Vitza Badina Hahi. The first period connected, as we said, to the times of Russia, and the second period of Tocha Gezdera the Amalchus Mitzrayim. It's kind of like Russia is considered like Egypt, like a Kor Barzel, like an iron crucible. Sheikah Avodas Misra is Nefesh Mamash. It was totally self-sacrifice. And then we have the second period, which is connected to the Medina of Poland, where he was doing his work in Poland. Where he was focusing on spreading out the teachings of Chabad Hasidus. And then we have the third period, which is the lower part of the globe, connected here, Mamish, to America, where he really brought about the spreading out of the wellsprings of Hasidut to the entire world. And this is bringing about the true and complete redemption. And he said, the alter tshuva, the alter geula. Immediate tshuva equals immediate redemption. Yud but Noga the fall, that is connected to action. Ooh, we're almost done. It's a short sikha tonight. As we find ourselves in Shabbos Mevarchim in the month of Shvat. Especially in the 10th of Shvat. Excuse me. It's necessary for each one of us to receive upon himself and to add on even more in our deeds of Torah, of Torah Avodah Shel Baal Hilula, the Torah and the service of the Baal Hilula, of the master of the passing, of the elevation. By the way, just to add, it's Chav Dalet Tevet. I forgot to mention, it's the Hilula of the Alter Rebbe, Rav Shner Zalman ben Rav Baruch, and in his neshama should have an aliyah, and his schus, we should have the true and complete redemption, Moshiach now. So we must add on to the Torah learning and the service of the deeds that were given to us by the Frierdiker Rebbe. Asher hareinu darchav v'nekhala ruch yisad prat bito his kash was called kavakadosh ma'arhamei ad nasi the rain ador, and specifically by nullifying ourselves and connecting ourselves to the Frierdiker Rebbe. And Nasi Haklal, because the leader is everything and everything's connected to the leader. And each one of us, this is applicable to in all times and places, everywhere. Don't think that you're absolved from this work. Nasim Kodesh, the Nasi Hador, Alzer, Shma'alim, Hadorim, Mikim, Chusayf, so Nasi Hador, Moshe Rabbeinu Servador, including all the Shluchim, all of those who are connected to the leader of the generation, the Moshe of the generation. The first redeemer connected to the last redeemer. The Mashiach before Mamish, to bring Mashiach in actuality. In addition to this, immediately we should have the Frierdiker Rebbe including every one of us who are connected to him. As called and the completion of all of his work and all his deeds that we are going to be connected to on Yud Shvat. And we must participate in a lot of big farbringings. Starting this month, in this Shabbos Mevarchim, in the month of Shvat, we must begin farbringing time. But Rosh Chodesh Shvat, specifically on Rosh Chodesh Shvat, Stay Esra Chidush Bechad Chodesh, on the 10th of the month, in the 10th month, on the first day of the month, Rosh Chodesh Shvat, Hoyel Maseh Bo Es HaTorah Ba'eshvim Lashon, The Aurora, the Chazek, Ish, Re'ehu, will call in the name of Omrim, and we must arouse all of those that we're able to reach, Michad, Israel, Aval, Hagula, Techef, Miad, and to bring forth the true and complete redemption. And including, of course, big Farbrengens on Yud Shvat. And surely we will all go to Israel and to the revelation of Mashiach with the leader of their generation at our head. And Moshe and Aaron together with us, and take miyad b'yom Shabbos Kodesh Parshas V'ira on this Shabbos. Yitzim kol b'nei ha'izgalus. That we will all travel, our sons and our daughters, our young and our old, as it says in the Midrash, Reuven v'Shimon Salich, all the Chol b'nei Yisrael hein agula all agula mitzvah shlema, that Reuven and Shimon went down and Reuven and Shimon came up, and that we will all travel together in the true and complete redemption. Including every single Jew from the beginning generations of the forefathers. And the very essence of every Jew will be connected with the oneness and the essence of God. And then we will go from higher and higher levels forever. And we'll go from strength to strength. And we will all see God in Zion. And Beis Hamikdash Shlishi and Mushalosh, and the third Beis Hamikdash, that God Mikdash Ani Adonai Kanei Yadecha, that He established with His own hands. I want to bless everyone. I will not be here for the next couple of weeks. We're going to Eretz Yisrael, and we will be there for Yud Shvat. And with God's help, the full Hizgalus of Melech HaMashiach, you will all come and join us. And I want to bless everyone. And as we enter into the month of Shvat, it should be true a chodesh of Geula, of redemption for each one of us. God should fulfill the promise He made to us thousands of years ago. Melech HaMashiach should reveal Himself. God should avenge our blood, all of our enemies in thought, speech, deed. Anyone who is still conspiring to do evil against the Jewish people should immediately be eliminated from the world. And we should all be in the Beis Hamikdash Shlishi, the Chaim of the Bracha, Moshiach Now.